It runs with a kernel called Linux kernel. It is open source kernel, and it has its own capabilities of sharing the hardware functionalities and its own programmatical functionalities. And it uses Java programming language to develop an applications. It is open source. It has open source libraries like WebKit, SQLite, and OpenGL. So these are the libraries which is for Android. So it is a basic of an Android. Here we have an OAH group. It is an Open Android Alliance group. Initially, when the Android peoples come up, they wanted to create some software like very stunning operating systems. They come up with so many companies. Everybody will tie up with the Android. So this is Open Android Alliance group. So there are so many other companies are also there. They come up with nowadays. So why we need to go with an Android? So Android is a simple and a powerful SDK. So no license is required for the distributions or development. Features are not there. And development over many platforms, Linux, Mac, OS, Windows. So we can develop mobile application development of Android using any platforms. There is no any restriction for the platforms. Excellent documentation is there. Anybody can look at any single type of a class or any method type. You can view what it is. API documentation is very good, and it is developer. There is a very good developer community. There is a very good support for the development also. So what the SDK features are there? So this SDK comes up with the networking. Basically, if you are looking into that, it has GSM, Edge, and 3G networks. Wi-Fi capabilities are there, and Bluetooth capabilities are there for the communication, peer-to-peer communication, and Wi-Fi network we can make it using Wi-Fi drivers. It has its own libraries, media libraries, SQLite, WebKit, and SSL certifications are all that built up with the SDK. So main feature is an SSL. And hardware control can go with accelerometers, compass, microphones are there. So all type of hardware, whatever needed, everything is added in the SDK. It has GPS, it has power management, it has location-based services maps. So these are the main features of an Android. So what the tools we need to be used to develop an Android. So basically previously we are using Eclipse for that. Later on the Eclipse is the entire thing of development team is shifted to Studio. So this Studio is with it has its own Android emulators, and the Android emulators are there. We can develop our application using you can create our own emulator to test an applications with the Android Studio. The implementation of Android virtual machine using a test, and we can test the applications using a debugger and tester. We have a debug monitor for this to debug the application development. Is there any blocks are there, so that we can use with the DTMS. There is a monitor to monitor and control the Dalvik virtual machine. Using Logcat we can monitor the complete stack of the flow of the application, and we have a ADB bridge. So using this Android debug bridge, we can debug an Android application while developing in the console level, such a way that single line we can debug it out. And we have a powerful install copied applications packages, and run shell commands are also there. We have a trace views. Using trace views, graphical analysis, and the tools for viewing the trace views. So these are the tools we use for the development of an Android application. We can create SD cards externally in emulator itself, and we can run the device as a virtual, but it can looks like a real device. If you go with Android architecture, so it has 4 layers of Android architecture. So in this we can see this layer. This is a phone user. This is the layer where a phone user can come across. So they don't have about the below 3 layers. they will not they will not face anything like these are the layers are there, such like that. So if this is the kernel layer, we have drivers and all other device related management drivers and its own libraries for the Linux kernel to handle it. So display drivers, keypad drivers, it has all the hardware related drivers needs to be communicate with the upper layers. So it has libraries which are developed using C++, Surface Manager and OpenGL, SQLite. So these are the libraries which are already written for an Android device, so that these can be used for application development. So a particular requirement can be executed using these libraries. This is a runtime, a Dalvik virtual machine and a core libraries. We develop an application using Java that will be executed in the Dalvik virtual machine using these core libraries. And we have application framework. This is the framework where the second layer comes up with the developer set. So these are the libraries which the user can interact with the device. So that particular application is interacting with these second layers for the user. So it's nothing but an application layer, application framework, and the phone users, they only see this layer. So we have its own applications like home, contacts, phone, browsers, so many applications, Skype, just like that applications will be in this layer. These are the main four layers of an architecture of an Android. See, Android is we use Java application running on a Java-based object-oriented programming. In that sense, software stack consists of applications running a Java applications, Java object-oriented programming application using Java core libraries that will be running in the Dalvik virtual machine, as we said. It has its own C libraries like OpenGL. If we have 3D graphics API already introduced now. We have API WebKit also there. So so many security levels are also, APIs are also introduced nowadays. So there is a powerful APIs nowadays is coming with an Android. So major components of an Android are activities and its own library cycle. Its own life cycle will be there for particular activities like. So applications set up core application including an email client, SMS programming, calendar, maps, browser, contacts, and other applications which are basically needed for a user to go with a mobile application. And we have our own, in the Dalvik virtual machine, we have its own drivers to communicate with these applications. So the basic components of an Android we can discuss with the activities, content providers, services, and its own libraries, system library, media libraries. So if you go for the system library, we have BSD derived implementation of the standard C systems, which is with the embedded Linux based device. We have packet video open core for video sharing. It can support video of type MPEG-4, MP3, AAC, and it can support images like JPEG, PNG. We have Surface Manager. In this Surface Manager, we have 2D and 3D graphics supported, and it has its own lib web core for web component to handle it, SGL for 2D graphics engine, 3D libraries, and SQLite for internal storage. It is a lightweight SQLite. It can be used for internal storage. So what is the runtime of an Android? The runtime of an Android application is a Dalvik virtual machine. So whatever we write an Android application, it will be converted into .exe file, text file. So that will be run in the Dalvik virtual machine, which is optimized for memory footprint, and the VM is register based and runs classes compiled by the Java compiler that have been transferred into the text format and by the included text tools. So this the Linux kernel coming to Linux, and it is of type 2.6 version. It's a core system. It has its own, such as security, memory management, process management, network stack, driver module, the kernel. So these are the hardware related Linux kernel drivers will be there. So that will communicate within hardware. Darwin question relates on the Linux kernel to provide the system services like threading and low level, for example, low level memory management. Being an open source, a modified version Linux kernel, it has been accepted by the development community and presents a golden opportunity to create products and services using this Android platform. Android development basics, in the sense, if you coming with what are the basics need to be developed using Android. So it has its own components. So these are the components like an activity, services, broadcast receivers, content providers, then intents. So these are the basic components of an Android. So if you're looking for this activity, we can move to this is an activity life cycle. So what do you mean by this activity? Activity is nothing but a view. A view component is nothing where a user can look into that actually. If the user is communicating, if he is interacting with the Android device, it's nothing but is interacting with an activity. It has its own life cycle. When we start an activity, it will first create an on create. It will be created only at once, and then go for an on start method. So all the things needs to be get started. So it calls on start method. Then it goes for on resume method. So on create, on start, on resume will not notice how much the life cycle it is actually, but it is very fast. There is only nanosecond differences between these three executions. Then whenever it is in on resume, the user is interacting with the device. After that, when the user is moving from one activity to another activity, it moves to the on pause. So then again the second activity comes into the pictures, like second activity will be on create, on resume, on start, and on resume. So again the user is interacting with the second activity using on resume. If you going back, since second activity goes to on pause, and if you are going out of the scope, then it goes to on stop and on destroy. So these are the life cycles of this method. If it is not destroyed, the activity is not destroyed. That means if you are not completely come out of the view, so it goes to, if you again accessing the same activity, it goes to on restart, and on restart will call the on start method, and on start method will call the on resume method. So life cycle will again it will be repeated using on restart method. So this is an activity life cycle. If you kill the activity, then it goes for the on destroy method. Then the activity will no more visible. So once the activity is destroyed, it will be in the nothing but activity shutdown. There is no activity will be there. That particular view will not be there in the stack. So services in the, for example, what you mean by the service? Service is nothing but if you are doing any background services, like if you want to play any music player, if a user is not interacting with that UI also, then we use the services to run the that type of functionalities. If you want to interact with the server, like if you want to download, or if you want to interact with servers in the backend, if you want to discuss with some people in the backend, like automatically listening some broadcast informations, we use the services for that. It runs in the main thread, and for resource intensive take it can branch out with a new thread actually. If you want to create a service with time limits, we use a new thread within the service. This is a service life cycle. When we create on create, when we start a service, we using start method, then it goes to on create. As it's going to on create, it will go with the on start method, and then service is started. As service is started, service is stopped by callback methods, or service is handling with the backend some other thread, internal threads. Then if the service is stopped by using stop, stop service method or self stop, then it will go with the on disturb method. So service can be, it can be stopped by itself or it can be stopped by externally. So like that, this it has its own life cycle. Once the service is stopped, there is no interaction with the service with the user. Broadcast receivers. Broadcast receiver is like, for example, you can notice like there is a battery low notification in our device. If the battery is low, we will get a notification. So how that notification comes up? So the Linux kernel is noticing that there is a battery is draining. So there is an application where it will show you that it will give a notification, trigger the notification. So not that notification comes up to the UI, UI to the user. So user can see that the broadcast receiver, as user can see that UI, that particular notification. So this is done by using the broadcast receiver. The broadcast receiver, it receives whatever the messages broadcasted from the different sources. It may be so many other external, anybody broadcasts any GCM messages or something, cloud messages. So that will be received using the broadcast receiver. So that will give you the notification regarding this is what I received. Like the low battery is received, like and one more, there is no running on low memory, running on, your device is running under low memory. So these are the notifications triggering from the device. So all those things will be handled by the broadcast receiver. So any broadcast information coming from the device or any external applications, it will be handled by the broadcast receivers. The content providers is a component of an Android application. This is used for sharing the content of our application, such as like if you want to share your contacts, your friend contact, if you want to see your friend's contact or something like, using content provider only, you are going to read that contacts details. Or if you want to take the contacts, if you are developing any application, if you want to read the contacts, using content provider only, you can read the contacts. So content provider is used for sharing the details or application count, sharing the data between an application and within an application. This is used to, this is what content providers. We can create our own content providers, not only any built-in content provider like contacts. We can create our own content providers. That content provider can also be shared within an application to get the data using SQLite. And if you want, put the I will show a simple application, how to create an application using Android Studio, and how to create an AVD, what is the project structure, and run the application on the, how to run the application on the emulator, and what will, how the logback will be there. I will share this. Start a new Android Studio. And this is a basic so this is an Android Studio's new project, and this is an application name. You can give any application name. sample demo. This is a company domain name. You can start with com dot my my example app, something like you can give. It's just like your company domain name or any module and submodule name also. And this is a project location. It is with the use the way that it's going to get created. So it will be created now in the downloads folders. The samples. The name will be sample demo. You go for the next. You have to ask for the minimum SDK. So what will be the minimum SDK? So these are the SDKs we're going to be get supported from the Android 1.0, 1.1, 1.6. So nowadays there are some devices with 4.0 also. So if you want to use 4.0, you can use a minimum SDK according to your requirement, whether you are going for a develop an application with a minimum support of 4.1 or 4.0 or 2.3. Like we can go with 4.1. I will take 4.1, and these are the where it is nothing but watch. It is a TV minimum SDK. This is Android Auto for robotics. Some in the automobile it is, and it is glass. So we are not using all those things. So we don't need to worry about this. Now it is API 4.1 Jelly Bean. So then approximately 95.2% of the devices now you are able to access the users. So 95% of users can use your application if you are using minimum SDK 4.1. Then you can go for the next. So this is the application UI, the basic UI you are going to get created. So which are the application you going to be, what if you want any navigation drawer type of application, master details, or login activities, so or map. So these are the activities. By defaultly it is available. So I will take some empty activity and I will go for the creating it. So what is an activity? This is my main first activity I will create. This is my main first activity I will create. This is, as it is main first activity, this is a layout name. So whenever you create an activity, it creates its own layout. It's nothing but a UI. So that UI is nothing but an XML file. Now it will be automatically get created by the project. Now this is now we created a first sample application. This is a structure of an application. Then a structure of an Android structure. It has its own application folder, the manifest, and Java. We create programs in the Java. So using in this folder we create. This is the resource folder. We will create XML files in the layout. We create images. We create launcher, activity values. Nothing but creating styles and themes, adding errors, and if you want to give any colors to that particular strings or for the window, you can mention the colors.xml. So this is complete